whammy it is. Well, many people admire the white blossoms of the Bradford pear trees in spring, but they're a growing problem in the tri-states. Sarah Zemansky is the extension educator for agriculture and natural resources for the Purdue Extension. Hello, Sarah.
Hi, it's great to be here today.
It's good to be here, too. We were just chatting. Our arborist friend, Larry Kaplan, it really can get on his soapbox about this. So they are so pretty.
They are so pretty, but we're going to start seeing in a few weeks, these will be the first trees that start to bloom out in the spring.
Yes.
We are going to start seeing white blossoms everywhere. And these blossoms will be not just in people's yards, but you're going to start seeing along the roadsides, you're going to see in the forests, these just fields of white blossoms. And what the problem is this tree proliferates so quickly that it crowds out our native species. So the Bradford pear was introduced to the U.S. in the early 1900s as an ornamental tree, and you see them still in people's yards. You see these trees with this lovely shape, these lovely white blossoms, but they come with a few problems. One is they're really prone to splitting. And so you see these trees where they're just getting, you get an ice storm, you get a bad windstorm, and these trees will just break in half. And so what they did over time is they introduced new cultivars of these trees. So the original tree was sterile. It wouldn't produce fruit. It would just produce the pretty flowers. But when they brought in these new cultivars of this tree to try to improve the strength of the tree, then they cross-pollinated with the original tree. And when they cross-pollinated, they started producing fruit.
And they are everywhere.
They are everywhere,
The roadsides, you name it, they're everywhere.
Oh, yes. And birds like the fruit. And so the birds would eat the fruit of these Bradford pears, which Callery pear is kind of the species name or for this particular type of pear. And so they would eat the fruit, and then they would fly away, and in their droppings you would have the seeds. And so they would just drop seeds all through the environment. And what grows from those seeds is not the pretty pear that we see in people's yards. Instead, it's a nasty, thorny, spiky pear.
Well, how did that happen? How did it morph to that?
Because that's the original version of the tree.
Oh,
and
okay.
So that's what happened when you cross-pollinated these. And so with fruit trees, if you are familiar with, say, the apples you buy in the store or the pears you buy in the store, these are all from cuttings of the original tree. So these are all clones of the original one of that variety. And it works the same way with your ornamental pears. But then when you cross-pollinate and you get these seeds, then you're reverting back to the wild version of the tree, essentially.
This is so, that's just nature going crazy here.
It is.
So what do we do? I mean, what can people do?
So the best thing you can do is not plant your Bradford pears.
And something native. Do something native.
Do something native if you can. And there are various wildflower nurseries. There are various places where you can get native trees. The native dogwood is a great spring flowering, white blooming tree. So that's a great alternative. Or even some of your northern magnolias. Those would be a good early blooming tree.
Can you, if you have them in your yard, maybe you bought a house that was already there, because as you said, they were ornamental. Just dig them up, take them down, cut them down to the ground, or how do you get rid of them and put something else there? Yeah,
I mean, actually, that's what I did myself. I purchased a home, and there were 2 of these Bradford pears in the backyard. First thing I did was call the tree service and schedule to have them removed, because I do not want to be part of the problem.
Well, if everybody could do that, I mean, I don't know how do we dial it back, because they are everywhere.
Well, that's the thing, is if you are a landowner and you have these sprouts from these Callery pears, these Bradford pears on your land, if you can go through and you can cut them down and you treat the stumps with a herbicide to prevent regrowth, that's the best thing you can do if you are a landowner and have this problem. And this goes for a lot of our other invasive species. There are many other ornamental plants that have become invasive. A good example would be burning bush.
Yes, yes.
Yes, burning bush, winter creeper. There are a number of different things, but if you are looking at working on your landscape, then think about native species. What native species can I use? And there are some great lists out there with the native plant societies. They can give you some great guidance.
Just Google that. Or
Google that, or contact your local extension office. My counterparts throughout the state of Indiana and Kentucky could help you out with some good landscape suggestions.
Sarah, thank you so much. It's such important information.
Oh, you are very welcome.
Get rid of those pears. We'll be back. Don't go away.